Hello, guys, everyone. Today we'll be learning amalgamation of companies in a simple way. Like, I'll be going through the concept in detail, but in a short span of time. Let's get into the concept without wasting any time. Okay, in a normal parlance, what do you mean by amalgamation of companies? Amalgamation of company is nothing but see here, the definition says it's not the definition, but according to AS 14, amalgamation is a combination of two or more entities into one. I'm just reading the meaning of amalgamation. Just look into it. I'll further explain it to you in detail. Desired effect is not just accumulation of assets and liabilities of different entities, but organization of such assets into one business. So commonly, amalgamation is something what one company acquiring a smaller company. In school days or in college days, we have come across the word merger, amalgamation, absorption, consolidation, and all those things. So now, accounting standard 14 says amalgamation. Just imagine you have two different companies, like my company and your company, and another one company. We two companies consolidate or go into liquidation to form one new company where these two companies, where my company and your company, will realize the assets and liabilities fully, right? So the two companies are wound up to form one new company. The new company, not just, it's a combination of just assets and liabilities of two companies, but the organization of such entities into one, meaning what these two companies have been doing businesses from past so many years, that business should be continued by the new business which is taking over. So that is the meaning of this. Simple understanding is that, think of two companies liquidating or winding up to form a new company where the business of two old companies is continued by the new organization which is formed. So that will be the meaning of amalgamation of companies. Next is, we will look into the differences in amalgamation, absorption, and external reconstruction. Okay, okay, fine. So this is a simple meaning. Amalgamation, we just got to know the meaning of amalgamation in simple terms. The first one, this is the meaning of amalgamation, absorption, and external reconstruction. Let's look into one by one. So amalgamation, as I told you, two companies will be consolidated. Two companies are wound up and a new company is formed. That is what I told you. Then absorption, an existing company is taking over another company. Say for example, um, take an example of Vodafone and HSR. So Vodafone was basically a US based company. So that Vodafone had to like step into Indian markets. So what it did is, see, Hutchin Hisar was a foreign company. So it came into the Indian markets to take over the HSR. HSR. Sorry for spelling it in a wrong way. So that would be the example where some existing company, a classic example would be uh, Reliance, not Reliance, Instagram taking over by Facebook. So that would be the example for absorption. In a simple meaning, absorption means a wealthy company taking over the business of a small company, right? So, looking into the meaning of external reconstruction. External reconstruction is a newly formed company takes over the business of an existing company. Meaning, I'll give you an example. See, internal reconstruction means we for example, we close the doors of our houses, or we change capital structure, assets, liabilities, and everything. So it is the opposite of external reconstruction. That is it. In internal reconstruction, internally we change the share capital, capital structure, preferences, debentures, all those things. In external reconstruction, consider an example, building a new house. Like, you have a existing house which is not in a proper condition. You transfer all the assets, furniture, assets, liabilities into new company which you have built, right? You will repair all the assets and liabilities of the existing company and then transfer it into the new company, right? That is what I'm trying to say. Please understand it properly. Where the existing company, newly formed company, the main objective of external reconstruction is forming a new company to take over the existing company. That is what I said in my example. You build a new house, you repair all the assets, furniture, liabilities, capital structure, everything, you repair it and transfer it to the new house, where this new house will be taken over by, no, this old house will be taken over by the new house. So that is the meaning of external reconstruction. Next point is companies involved. In amalgamation, minimum three companies is involved. It can be uh, two also. In most of the cases, three companies is involved. In case of absorption, minimum two companies, where one company which is taking over another company. So that is it. External reconstruction, only two companies are involved. The third point is liquidation. In amalgamation, as I told you in the first instance, two companies will liquidate, will wind up to form a new company, right? In absorption, only one company is being wound up. Yeah, where the as I gave you the example of Meta, right? Not Meta, Facebook taking over WhatsApp and Instagram. So Instagram is totally wound up, and which is it's taken over by Facebook, right? Yeah, one company is completely wound up. If one company is completely liquidated, then in external reconstruction, it's only one company which is going into liquidation. The fourth point is that incorporation. In amalgamation, two new companies go into liquidation and one new company is formed with new capital structure, with shares, debentures, or preferences. In absorption, there is no incorporation of companies. Why? Because one company, one big company is taking over small company. That is it. In external reconstruction, yes, incorporation of one new company is there. So this is the case of what is the meaning of amalgamation and the differences between amalgamation, absorption, and external reconstruction. Next, we'll move on to, just give me a minute. Yeah. Accounting 14 prescribes accounting in the books of transferee company. So I'll just say you this, and after I'll tell you what do you mean by transferee and transferor company. Prescribes accounting in the books of transferee company for the purpose of accounting. AS 14 amalgamation includes absorption and external reconstruction. Okay, leave this. Okay. In simple language, I will tell you what do you mean by transferor and transferee. As I gave you the example of Facebook and Instagram, in this case, Instagram is the transferor company, Facebook is the transferee company, where in Kannada they say "Togolodu," where this Instagram is giving away its rights. It's transferring whole of its assets and liabilities to Facebook. So this Instagram will be called as transferor. The assets and liabilities the company which is taking is called transferee. That is the simple example of transferor and transferee. I didn't give you the meaning of transferor and transferee. Just make a note of it. Okay. Moving on to, there are two categories of amalgamation. So amalgamation will be in the nature of merger and amalgamation will be in the nature of purchase. Right. To become amalgamation in the nature of merger, the company or the entity needs to satisfy five conditions. What are those five conditions? Let us know. Five conditions is mandatorily to be satisfied to become amalgamation in the nature of merger, or else, if any one of the condition is not satisfied, it will become amalgamation in the nature of purchase. Right. Let us look into the five conditions. The first condition is all the assets and liabilities of transferor. In simple terms, I have written it as ROR company. Just remember it as transferor. Transferor company should be taken over by transferee company. Let us understand this by an example. The same example, as I've told you earlier, Instagram and Facebook. Let it be the classic example for our discussion and understanding. So here, the transferor company is the Instagram, the transferee company is Facebook. All the assets and liabilities of Instagram will be taken over, should be taken over by Facebook. Then it will be called as amalgamation in the nature of merger. Did you get my point? Okay. All the assets and liabilities of Instagram will be taken over by Facebook. That is it. Second point is minimum 90% of the shareholders of transferor company should continue to be the shareholders of transferee company. Okay. Instagram's shareholders, Instagram shareholder and Facebook shareholder. This Instagram shareholder should agree, 90% of them should agree to become the shareholders of transferee company. Right? If they do not satisfy, like some shareholders do not want to get into the new company, in that case it will be not called as amalgamation in the nature of merger. So the 90% condition is mandatorily to be satisfied by transferor company. Yes, right, to become amalgamation in the nature of merger. Moving on to the third point is consideration to shareholders of transferor company should be equity shares, should be given in the form of equity shares to, no, this is consideration to shareholders of transferor company should be given in equity shares by the transferee company except for fractional shares settled in cash. You ignore this except for fractional shares settled in cash. I will tell you it later. Just concentrate on these 2 points. Consideration, I'll just highlight it for your understanding. Where do I find this? How do I do this? Okay, fine. Okay, fine, leave it. We'll continue with the third point. Consideration to shareholders of ROR. Let us have the same example of Instagram and Facebook. The consideration will be in equity shares. Like consideration is something in return. In law, we say it as quid pro quo. If you want to buy something you go to a shop, and what will you give? Will the shopkeeper simply give you the item without paying anything? No, right? You will give cash to him, or you transfer money through UPI. So that is something in return. right? You are taking the assets and liabilities of Instagram. The Facebook is taking the assets and liabilities of Instagram. So the Facebook has to pay something to Instagram, right? So that is the consideration. What we say in Kannada is Hana, Duddu. Okay, you have to pay something to take something, right? Anything doesn't come free of cost. Ah, ಬರ್ತೀನಿರಪ್ಪ. ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಓದ್ಕೋತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಏನ್ ಹೇಳು? ಓದ್ಕೋತಾ ಇದೀನಮ್ಮ. ಊಟ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಯಾಕೆ ಬೇಡ ಅಂತಾರೆ? ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾನು. Moving on to the fourth point is the business of ROR company should be continued by REE company. Okay. In first point, I told you something here. The organization of such entities into one business. The meaning of this fourth point is the business of transferor company. Now, Instagram and Facebook. Instagram and Facebook is dealing with the same business. So, this Instagram, which will be taken over by Facebook, the Facebook should continue the business of Instagram. So that is the condition which is saying. The Facebook cannot say, no, 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 I will not continue your business. I will form my new own company and continue my own business. In that case, it will be amalgamation in the nature of purchase. It will not be amalgamation in the nature of merger. Okay, then. Fifth point. Assets and liabilities of transferor company should be taken at book values to the transferee company. Okay, fine. The fifth point is very easy. Now, in our example, Instagram assets and liabilities will be taken over. Yes, we know that. This Instagram assets and liabilities to be taken in their book values, assets and liabilities. ಎರಡೇ ನಿಮಿಷ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ. Right. This assets and liabilities of Instagram to be taken over by the Facebook should be taken at book values, not at the desired values, not at the values which is decided or pre-decided at the wish and will of Facebook. Right. Except to bring uniformity in accounting policies. This says that in case if Instagram is following a weighted average method or FIFO method, and Facebook is maintaining only LIFO method, then in that case, it can just change the format of accounting. It cannot wholly change everything now. In that case, there is exception. Not in all the cases, right? Okay, let us revise once again the meaning of amalgamation. Accounting Standards 14 says, in simple common parlance, amalgamation is a combination of two or more entities into one, where desired effect is not just accumulation of assets and liabilities of two different entities, but the organization has to continue the business of old company, right? And we saw the differences between amalgamation, absorption, and external reconstruction. In amalgamation, two or more companies is involved. It should have minimum three companies and liquidation of minimum two companies, incorporation of only one company, and the basic conditions. The two categories of amalgamation is amalgamation in nature of merger and purchase. To satisfy amalgamation in nature of merger, five conditions. That is, all the assets and liabilities to be taken over by transferee company of the transferor company. Then minimum 90% of the shareholders of the transferor company should become the shareholders of transferee company. Then consideration to the Shareholders of the transferor company should be given in the form of equity shares by transferee company. You just ignore that except for fractional shares settled in cash. You just don't ignore it. Just ignore it. The business of transferor company to be continued by transferee company. Yes, the old business which was being done by transferor company, the Instagram should be carried forward by Facebook. And assets and liabilities of transferor company to be taken at book values, except to bring uniformity in accounting policies. So this is the first part of amalgamation, its difference, and five conditions. So one thing I didn't tell you, I missed telling is, if all the five condition is satisfied, it becomes amalgamation in the nature of merger. If any one of the condition is not satisfied, then it becomes amalgamation in the nature of purchase. You may say that in from Instagram, I will take only this asset, this asset, this asset. I won't take that asset. Oh, in that case, it won't become like that. If any one of the five conditions which is not satisfied, it will become amalgamation in the nature of purchase only. See, this is very, very important to solve the problems. Yes.